Everybody, it's Trags. It's Wednesday, November 7th, and it's time for episode 270 of Patriots Beat on the CLNS Media Network. Find us at clnsmedia.com and follow us on Twitter at PatriotsCLNS for all football coverage, including your New England Patriots. The Pats head into this game, this week's game, on a roll, to say the least. They started 1-2 and have now won 6 straight. They're 7-2, hot on the heels of the 8-1 Chiefs in the AFC. They're coming off perhaps their best defensive game of the year, holding Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to just 17 points in a 31-17 Sunday night win. For the second time this year, they take on a team coached by someone Bill Belichick knows pretty well. As a matter of fact, Belichick said this week that Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel was a natural for a NFL head coaching position. To discuss the latest stop on the Bill Belichick reunion tour this Sunday in Belichick's birthplace of Nashville is longtime NFL columnist and now writer and radio personality covering the Titans, Paul Kuharsky. Paul, welcome.
Appreciate the invite. How you doing?
I am doing very well. You had a busy night on Monday night, so you have a short week. How's that treating you? How was Dallas?
It was quick. It was in and out. I'm still recovering from Europe, to be honest with you. I turned it into a little bit of a family vacation and got back, and I've been kind of sick ever since, and It is not going away. I think my medicine is broken, but I am soldiering on.
I am sorry to hear that. That was a heartbreaking game, as a matter of fact, for the Titans. That win Monday night was good in terms of coming back off the bye, and obviously that last-second loss when Mike Vrabel went for 2 points against the Chargers. Are people in Tennessee still talking about that decision?
Well, they've moved on now and feeling pretty good about themselves after the Dallas win. I think the consensus was that they liked the aggression, going for the 2-point conversion, going for the win, but not the play call. I didn't necessarily like going for it because it took the Titans a lot to get into the end zone there to score. They really needed every drop of every ounce of the 4 downs to get into the end zone. And I thought they could have driven down there again and had 4 more chances to get in as opposed to a one-shot deal. But, they played aggressive against Philadelphia, going for a win instead of a tie in overtime, and it paid off. So that's going to be who they are, and they're 50-50 at this point with that kind of thing.
I say this is a Bill Belichick reunion tour, Paul, but it's actually a Patriots reunion tour. GM John Robinson, as you know, a former Belichick scout here in New England, Dion Lewis, Logan Ryan, and of course, Malcolm Butler. Patriots fans, Paul, you can imagine, can't seem to get enough Malcolm Butler news. Asked about him on Tuesday and recalling the Malcolm Go call at the end of Super Bowl 49 that led to the game-saving interception of Russell Wilson, Patriots linebackers coach Brian Flores said, "It takes me back to a great memory. Obviously I have a good history with Malcolm. I think he's a great player, an incredible player." Well, I think a lot of people in Tennessee are wondering what tape Brian Flores is watching right now, because it's not been a great start. You tweeted on Tuesday this very telling statistic, I would say, per Pro Football Focus. Butler has allowed 8 completions on 11 targets for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's allowed 39 catches this year for 618 yards, 7 touchdowns. All 3 marks are league highs among cornerbacks. Ouch.
Yeah, and I don't like to cite Pro Football Focus as the be-all, end-all,
right,
or one take. He's not been good. I mean, he gave up 2 touchdowns, and I think expectations of cornerbacks are ridiculous, but he's the worst of what the Titans are putting on the field right now. He's playing, not in the nickel spot, but he's playing the nickel snaps, which means he's not even a starter.
Right.
Which is not what you want out of a $30 million guaranteed guy. He had a great training camp. He had his hand on balls constantly. It was very impressive, but I was saying, these are not very good receivers he's going against. Let's keep that in mind.
And you are.
Excuse me.
Oh, go ahead.
And listen, I didn't love the signing because I think when you're paying huge money like that, you need to be paying for one outstanding trait. Incredible speed, incredible ball skills, incredible something. And what they were selling with Malcolm Butler was incredible competitiveness. Well, the Patriots showed you can get incredible competitiveness in an undrafted rookie free agent. I think there are cheaper avenues to incredible competitiveness than the one the Titans took there. He's not been very good. I think he's a little bit of a head case right now, and nobody's going to be better able to take advantage of that than Bill Belichick. I think they should be thinking about playing LaShawn Sims, their fourth cornerback, who's pretty good. And but yesterday, Mike Vrabel poo-pooed that notion when I asked him about it at the press conference.
You are a co-host on the Midday 180 on 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. And on Tuesday, you had Logan Ryan, a former Patriot, of course, on the air. And he said that Malcolm might be putting pressure on himself to be more than he has to be. He responded at the end of the game. We're going to need him, Logan told you guys. I think he will do a better job if he's the Malcolm Butler I know. So what does that mean?
Well, I don't know that he could do, I'm not cut the guy or get out of the contract or any kind of reactionary like that. They're halfway through now and he's been bad. They are going to need him at some point. But I can't help but wonder if the thing to do right now isn't to hit pause on him in some way, shape, or form. The Titans have the best scoring defense in the league. Think about this. The Titans have the best scoring defense in the league. And their biggest acquisition, their biggest addition to the starting 11, or their top 12, if you want to, now make it a nickel thing, who got $30 million guaranteed, is a liability. And they still have the top scoring defense in the league. It's rather remarkable to think about it that way. I don't know if you need to hit pause on them or whatever. They're not getting anywhere close to where they want to go with him playing like this, I don't think. Well, they've gotten to 4-4 and overcome some bad stuff, even with him playing poorly. But in many ways, he's kind of the story. And to go to the bigger Patriots thing, Logan Ryan's been very good here. Dion Lewis now, 2 games in a row, has been pretty effective. Josh Klein as a waiver wire pickup was a good, effective guy. Yep. They give him pretty good money on a second contract. That seems too much to me. And we've covered Butler pretty thoroughly. I think John Robinson's batting about 500 on ex-Patriots and should probably be expanding the circle a little bit more than he has.
I promise you, okay, Paul, speaking with Paul Kuharsky, covering the Titans. You can follow his terrific stuff on Twitter at Paul Kuharsky, and you can also follow him at paulkuharsky.com. I'm going to ask you one more question about Malcolm, and we'll move on, okay? I promise.
Sure.
Has Malcolm Butler, do you think, and I'm sure you've spoken with him about it, put the Super Bowl snub finally behind him?
I think so. There's not much he could do about it. He'll probably revisit it in his head this week. I think the biggest thing he could do to put it behind him is to play like the Malcolm Butler that was, a big find in New England and that helped him win a Super Bowl instead of the Malcolm Butler that got benched for whatever reason in the most recent Super Bowl, and he hasn't done that. So, I don't know how much it is about putting it behind him as kind of quashing the question from everybody else, which I think is going to eternally be out there. It's just a matter of the volume on it, and he's done nothing to turn the volume down on it.
That's good. That's really basically all you could probably ask from Malcolm. It's a tough position he's in. He's got to play better, and there's really nothing else that can be said about it at this point as he faces his former team, the Patriots, this Sunday at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Speaking with Titans beat writer Paul Kuharsky and co-host of the Midday 180 on 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. Hey, everybody, I want to tell you about the future of journalism. If you haven't seen it by now, here's your chance to join a sports revolution. It's called The Athletic. Go to theathletic.com theathletic.com/PatsBeat, all lowercase, and sign up now for 40% off. That's theathletic.com/PatsBeat, all lowercase, for your first subscription to The Athletic for less than $3 a month. I was just reading Jeff Howe's terrific breakdown of film from Sunday night's win over the Packers. There's great analysis and insight you won't find anywhere else. And like the how and the why, the Pats D is starting to truly make believers out of those who once doubted them. Then there's Matt Chatham's great weekly insight to the X's and O's. The Athletic is a subscription-based publisher of smarter sports coverage for diehard fans. The model is simple: no ads, no pop-ups, and no autoplay videos. Go to theathletic.com/PatsBeat, all lowercase. Again, that's theathletic.com/PatsBeat for 40% off. Subscribe now and be part of the future of sports journalism. Speaking again with longtime NFL writer Paul Kuharsky, covering the Titans at paulkuharsky.com. You mentioned Dion Lewis a little while ago, Paul, and he had a season-long 30-yard reception from Marcus Mariota Monday night to go along with the 18-yard TD reception. 4 catches, 60 yards, 33 catches, 259 yards. As a receiver this year, 92 carries on the ground with a 3.7-yard average. Has he been basically everything that the Titans expected when they signed him in the offseason? 4 years, $20 million?
No, it's been slow coming. These last 2 games have been better. Offensive line hasn't been very good, so that's part of it. You know, the screens have been hit or miss, really more miss. The good ones have been great. The misses have been, no gains, blown up pretty quickly. Lot of runs that really haven't produced anything. That's partly there's nothing for him to go get, but partly, his inability to do much. But on the ones where he breaks free, you say there's the guy that they went and got. It's supposed to be a two-headed monster with Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry, he is a home run hitter in the body of a guy everybody thinks is a battering ram. So he's a very difficult guy to kind of come to terms with because he's not a battering ram.
Right.
And he's just not been good. Now, against Dallas, he had, 6 carries for something like 27 yards and a nice touchdown, and it was a very supplemental role, a complimentary role. I think they're heading more that direction. Chris Mortensen reported they tried to deal him. I'm not surprised they didn't because he got no real value. Nobody's eager to acquire what he's been bringing, but that to me signals, these are his last 8 games with this team. They have to find some kind of parallel track to use Henry, even though he doesn't factor into their long-term plan. It doesn't seem to me. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it's now Dion Lewis, is going to be more closer to 75% than to 50%.
Is it fair to say, Paul, that the RPO is one of the things they're trying to get Lewis going? I mean, because there's one play the other night, that the touchdown on the flip to Jonnu Smith, where the ball was in Lewis's hands, and I believe the defensive end came off the edge, actually tackled Lewis, and Mariota did a great job pulling the ball out at the last second and flipping to Smith for the go-ahead score. Is that Lewis's biggest role on this?
They don't do it a great deal. He certainly can be a dangerous guy when Mariota is doing it. They talked about there being 3 options on that play, and I think it was a very clever, smart, effective play. I don't see a scenario really, though, on that play where they're doing anything except shoveling it to Jonnu Smith. So, I think it's effective that Mariota keeps it in there for a long time to make that defensive end or whoever was crashing in from the side pay complete attention to Dion Lewis to help free up Jonnu Smith. I think it was effectively done, but I have a hard time believing they were going to do anything but what they ultimately did. Certainly Dion Lewis fits nicely with the whole, you gotta pick whether you're going with him or not going with him. I think they need to do it a little bit more to help Marcus Mariota, and I've been contemplating a lot this week. The teams that have kind of chosen to spy Marcus Mariota,
right,
and to kind of hem him in with their perimeter guys, rushing, but with a disciplined style. I think, have really done a good job against the Titans. And the teams that haven't really concentrated hard on doing that have given him the freedom that makes him a far better quarterback. Dallas let him be a far better quarterback. I wouldn't think for a second that Belichick would let him move freely in a way that makes him more comfortable.
Well, there was the touchdown run where Mariota waited and then sprinted right up the middle when the middle of the field parted like the Red Sea in the Dallas defense. And
there's one guy there who you think, he's going to get 6 yards here, but he's going to get popped, and then he just curves around that guy, and then he barely got an arm on him.
How's it been covering Marcus Mariota? I mean, is he going to reach that net, or do people in Tennessee believe he is on the brink of reaching that next level, or is he flattened out?
Yeah, it's more that he's flattened out. I mean, that was a really good game on Sunday night. We're in this never-ending circle now of, he's not good enough. The receivers are dropping everything, which makes him not good enough. The offensive line isn't protecting him well enough, which is crushing his chances. Baltimore came in here and sacked him 11 times. So it's a who's to blame thing. But they're also approaching the decision point on the money. So his fifth-year option was executed last year. He's under contract for roughly $20 million next year. But when do you do the long-term deal? You watch him on Monday night and you say, all right, do the long-term deal. But you watch him the 3 games before that, and you're like, I got to see a lot more before I'm giving him a long-term deal that approaches the kind of money guys are getting right now. And that's where I am.
Right.
You could franchise him after next year if you needed. I just need to see more over a consistent period of time. And I don't buy the thing, and I don't like teams that do it around the league who say, who are you going to get that's better? I think, there are probably only 12 teams that have quarterbacks that you would definitely say you would take over him, which is fine. I like him a lot. I mean, I've said for the longest time, I think he has the skill set and the mindset to be an effective, winning NFL quarterback. This is his 3rd coordinator in his 4th year, which is disappointing. They need to plug it in, surround him better, and leave it alone. But he needs to elevate some people and play more consistently week to week. Here's a situation again, great game against Dallas. I'm not expecting the Titans to do very well against the Patriots because people don't do very well against the Patriots. But after that, the Titans have a very handleable,
I saw the end of their schedule, and it's not
I need to
difficult.
see consistent play from him. I mean, they got Indianapolis twice. They got rematches with Jacksonville and Houston. They've got Jets and Giants. They've got Washington. They need consistent quarterback play to lead the way, and he's got to get people onto the side of that he's the long-term answer here. I hope he is. It'd be great for this organization if he was. And I'm not saying there's an easy alternative out there, but I do think there is a tough decision.
I got to tell you, Paul, I mean, you take a look at the Monday night game at Houston on November 26th, throw that game out. The rest of those games are definitely winnable. I mean, like, all of those games are winnable. You would agree?
They have great success against Jacksonville. Jacksonville kind of tanked. I don't know what the Colts are right now, really. And the Titans have historically, up until last year, had some real difficulty with the Colts. But that should be that should be a team that at minimum they can split with now. Jets and Giants have got to beat, and I'm not a big believer in Washington, but I mean, if they're going to lose 1 or 2 there, I'd say they should win 3 out of 4.
Speaking with longtime NFL columnist and Titans beat writer Paul Kuharsky. Hey everybody, I want to tell you about a new wellness brand for men. It's called Hims. With the windy winter months coming up, I want my skin to feel clean and fresh. That's why I swear by Hims Everyday Moisturizer. It's a daily moisturizer that you won't want to give up on because it won't give up on you. This light moisturizer helps your skin from looking overly shiny or oily. Hims is also great for another common problem, hair loss. 66% of men lose their hair by the age of 35. Thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. It's always easier to keep the hair that you have than to replace the hair that you've lost. The solution, 4hims.com. It's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skin care, and sexual wellness for men. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. There's well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. Order now. My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to forhims.com/trags. That's forhims.com/trags. forhims.com/trags. Speaking with Paul Kuharsky, covering the Titans. You can read his work at paulkuharsky.com. Let's finish up talking about Bill Belichick's favorite big game receiving tight end, Mike Vrabel. He has a pretty distinctive style. You would agree, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a different guy, and I really appreciate that they went outside the box. I don't love the recycled guys that we've seen over and over. Heck, we're seeing it with Gruden in Oakland, who I promise you I was saying I didn't love the idea even before it went south. But certainly a guy like Mike Mularkey, who did some good work here, it was hard to get people to rally around somebody like that. And, the Titans are hardly a revolutionary offense so far. But they're striving to be part of the modern NFL, and the Titans haven't been part of the modern NFL in some time. So I think just on that alone. And, look, he talks common sense. He doesn't always answer directly what you're talking about, but he sure tries to give you some information, some insight. Just the other day when I was talking about the LaShawn Sims versus Malcolm Butler,
right?
I said, is it time to take a look at LaShawn Sims there? And he said, no, he's not as good in practice. How many coaches are going to say that outright?
Well, he certainly didn't get that from Bill Belichick, I don't think. I mean, Bill would not tell you one way or another. He would, keep everything very close to the vest. It's always interesting to me how when you have coaches or former players who become coaches who leave the Belichick tree, they don't always, behave in a Belichickian manner. And I think that's a fascinating trait to kind of track around the NFL. Josh McDaniels certainly was different when he went to Denver, and Bill O'Brien is his own guy in Houston. But I think Mike Vrabel has the ability, just on the outside, Paul, to really command respect of his players. And is that the case? I mean, does everybody on that team really respect his knowledge and his ability to coach that team?
I think they love his energy, his vibe, and his youth. Not only did he play, and guys like coaches who played recently, so he can really relate to not just kind of the ebb and flow of how tired you are, how beat up you may be, the kind of rest you need, but kind of the emotional ebb and flow of it. And, I think, too, his ability to simplify. I told you if we did these 5 things, we'd win,
right.
And we did these 5 things and we won. Or, look, I told you if we did these 5 things, we'd win, and we didn't do these 5 things and we lost. It's pretty simple. Like, there's nothing complicated to discuss here about why we lost that game, because we didn't do the things that we talked about doing. And I need to coach better so that we could do those 5 things, and we need to play better. He's a pretty straightforward guy, but he's got an energy and a calm about him that's just different. And I think that's why he's in the job. The first thing John Robinson said was leader of men. And that can sound hokey. But I think it's dead on. He's just got kind of a way about him that I think screams football coach. Take away his size and his look and stick his personality in a room. And if you were picking jobs for people, I think people could very easily say football coach for that guy.
I want to let you go, Paul, and get better, because you've got a big game coming up on Sunday, and I really appreciate you taking time out. How can people follow you on Twitter and online?
At Paul Kuharsky NFL on Twitter is the easiest way to find me. You can also find me on Facebook at Tennessee Titans Kuharsky. I hope you'll check out both as we head into this matchup. And I want to thank you for the invitation. A lot of good questions, good conversation. I apologize for the background noise. It wasn't the most professional to be pumping gas, but the alternative was for me not to make it to work. And I know you didn't want that hanging over your head.
I did not. And I'm sure you went with Supreme, right? 93 octane.
I'm happy to report that my newest car, which is only a couple years old, does not require the ripoff of Supreme, and it runs beautifully.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure you will be taking said automobile to the game on Sunday, and we will definitely be reading up on your site. And also, this is the golden age of radio where we can listen online. If you are so inclined, you are also the co-host of the Midday 180 on 104.5 The Zone.
Which you can stream at 1045thezone.com. We are on 10 to 2 Central, so that would be, if my math is correct, 11 to 3 Eastern. Jason and Devin McCourty, by the way, here's a good tidbit for you, were invited onto the Logan Ryan show, on my show, a tit-for-tat agreement where he would have gone on their podcast or whatever it is that they do.
Right.
And they, of course, were denied permission to come and speak freely with us. I sent Jason a good GIF expressing my feelings at his not being allowed to come on.
And we can, I'm sure, find that GIF at Paul Kuharsky NFL on Twitter, correct?
Yeah, I haven't tweeted it, but I should. It was a good one.
I'm sure you will get around to doing that. I want to thank Paul Kuharsky.
Thanks for the invite. I enjoyed speaking with you.
It was a pleasure. I want to also thank our great sponsors, The Athletic and Hims, for producer Mike Alongi, our executive producer Larry H. Russell, and the founder of the network, Nick Gelso. This is Mike Petralia, and this has been the Patriots Beat podcast, powered by CLNS Media.